What's up, guys? Today we are focusing on a little pre-project project that we have to get hashed out before we can start anything in the garage. Now, it's about the garage, but we got to get it done in the garage before we can start projects in the garage for the garage. Yeah, whatever, just here. Well, here we are. We're in the garage. This one is a two-car garage. Remember our last place that we were in? It was a one-car garage. I could barely fit that little bitty Jeep of mine in there as it was. This is a lot bigger, but as you can see, there's a lot of random crap that I need to get out of here. That's the reasoning for those boxes over there. Let's take a look. All right, so these two boxes right here. Obviously, I got to get this crap out of here. So what this is a shed. It's one of those like plastic composite or like, plastic composite or something shed. But here's my problem. The pad in the backyard that I need to set this thing on is unlevel. So herein lies our problem. It gives the assembled size of the shed, and it has a picture of the shed, as you can see right here. Now the problem is those dimensions, I don't know if that's like the sides or if it's the base. Now, in the picture it shows the base almost the same size. When you get these things assembled, you just never know what the actual size is going to be. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open these boxes, I'm going to pull out all the base plates, just the base plates, that's it. I'm going to assemble them on the driveway so we can actually get a hard measurement on what the base actually is. And the reason is the concrete pad that I want to put this on in the backyard is not perfectly level. Well, if you want the shed to be level and plumb on the sides, you have to make sure that your base is nice and flat first. So what we got to do is we're gonna have to build a platform for it to sit on. And in order to figure out what size plywood we need, well, not plywood, but in order to figure out what size boards we need and how big to build it and all that, I want to get hard measurements before I start on any of that process. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started. We're going to go ahead and start assembling it on the ground outside. So as you can see, it shows there 8 foot 4.5 for the width and the depth of 10 foot, what is it, 10 foot 2 1/4. Well, I'm going to tell you guys that my actual measurements, I mean, they're not exact, obviously. I mean, they're barely off, maybe 1/16 of an inch, but this is how, this is generally how it goes together. Now you can see here, there is a little ramp, like a lip, right here. So that adds to the overall dimension that way. But there's nothing extra on the sides, which is strange. So instead of 10 foot 2 1/4 wide, I have 10 foot 2 long to the edge of this, basically to the edge of this lip from the back. As far as width, it said it was 8 foot 4 1/4. I don't know where they got that measurement. I'm guessing they were adding on the ends of the roof, like the eave or something. Like I don't really know. But I got 8 foot, just a straight 8 foot across. Let's see, or 8 1/16. Okay. So, anyways, it's probably a good thing we did this. Because then we get an idea of exactly what our dimensions are, and we build it according to that, rather than what the box says. So what I'm thinking is, after I get the base done, and put it all together, but I think I'm going to do a plywood interior, because as you can see, this is like pliable. It might be more so because it's in the heat right now. The sun's beating on it. You can see it flexes under my finger. Man, it's hot. It's really hot because of the sunlight being on black. But the thing is I don't want to damage it and screw it all up, put holes in it and all that. So what I want to do is I think I'm going to go ahead, measure the interior, get exact measurements, and lay some 3/4 inch plywood down in there. That way I can't screw it up. Because I'm going to be putting some heavy stuff in here. Let's be real. I mean, a lot of car parts and stuff, or just, you know, a bunch of the stuff I mess with is super heavy. So I think it'd be best if I just do a plywood bottom on the inside. The outside, I'm going to reinforce the walls and stuff a little bit because, like I said, this stuff's kind of pliable. So it'll really help out the structural integrity, putting in some braces and maybe some plywood on the sides and the inside and stuff like that. Keeping it from getting damaged from the stuff I'm going to put in there and lean against the walls or whatever. And also the plywood floor. So now we get to start doing our measurements and figuring out how much pressure treated lumber I'm going to need for the bottom, or the base plate, I mean, and then we can start building that. So that's going to be fun.
Yay, field trip time! Ooh, pretty. Look at how these trees grow over this road like this. It's like a tunnel. How awesome is this? Pretty cool.
Alright guys, after thinking about it, I'm just going to do the 12 footers. That's going to give me a decent little ramp to get into the shed. It'll make loading and unloading stuff in and out of it easier. Because remember, if it's going to be a 2x4 platform, which 2x4s are over here, if it's going to be a 2x4 platform, that means it's going to be at least 3.5 inches wide, and then adding the 1 1/16 on top of it. So we're looking at for almost 4 5/8 off the ground to the bottom of the shed. So we got to keep that in mind whenever we're building our ramp. Right now I'm going to go look at 2x4s, get prices on them. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and build those into 2 4x10 platforms. That way when I go to move, it's going to make them a lot easier to get out of there, being a one-man show kind of deal. So yeah, I'm thinking 2 4-foot by 10-foot platforms, and then like lag bolt them together or bolt them together or just screw them together, whatever I can figure out in order to make it nice, and because it's going to have to be strong. But remember, we're going to have little legs coming off of this, touching the floor or touching the concrete pad in order to make it level. So if I just space those out accordingly, it'll be nice and strong.
Time for tacos.
back from our trip from Harbor Freight. Let's see what we got. We got a couple of cheap sawhorses. These are on sale for like $8.99 a piece. I couldn't pass them up. I know they say that they can handle like 350 pounds each, but you know, I don't know if I would trust that. Eventually I'm gonna get some heavier duty ones for doing stuff in the garage and out in the yard and stuff, but these will do fine for now. 4 foot level. Remember, the longer the level, the more accurate whatever you're trying to level is going to be. So, 4 foot level, this should do just fine. I mean, for this shed project and, you know, a lot of other stuff. A couple bags of goodies, some adapters for impact to whatever size socket, quarter, 3/8 half. Those things, these are awesome. Like $1.99 a set. I've bought so many of these over the years. Square and these dirt cheap little razor knives. I got a couple of these in here. Those things, they're like, I think 29 or 39 cents a piece, and they're so worth the money. They're always good to keep around the shop or in your toolbox or something like that. And then I got this. This right here. I've been wanting one of these for quite a while, and they were having some sort of clearance sale thing this weekend, and this was $89, which is a killer deal. The reviews on these are like, people rave about these saws, and if you're doing, you know, any kind of steel work or cutting in your shop or whatever, like, you just can't beat these. Let's open it up. Let's see what it is. Actually, these come in a fairly nice case. The case is actually really nice. Not bad. Okay, so the thing is they don't come with blades. So at Harbor Freight they have two choices of blades. They have a 10-14 TPI and an 18 TPI. See, the 18 is for 1/8 a 1/4 inch thick steel, and this is for 1/4 inch and thicker steel. So yeah, we're going to be working with a lot of different thicknesses of metal. So I don't know if you guys could see that, but so this, see how, let's see, so this is the 10-14. See, you got two blades together, so it kind of messes it up. Here. There we go. That's better. Well, if it will focus, there you go. See? So that's the 10-14. And the 18 will obviously be more fine. And there you can see, if it'll focus, yeah, there you can see the tooth pattern on that. So, I'm really excited about this. I've been wanting one of these for years. Look at that. It's nice. It's got a 5-inch throat on it. This is going to come in handy. Not right now for what we're doing with the shed today, but in general, this saw is going to come in very handy in the shop. All right, let's get to work. Well, boys, both the frames are built. I built them with, so I checked them for square and I put plates in the corners on all of them. You can see there's, so anyways, to tie them together, I went and bought carriage bolts. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 of them tying this together. That should be plenty. I built it on 16-inch centers, just like a wall of a house, but I did that for strength. I did the 2x4s this way rather than long ways because obviously the shorter the distance, the stronger it is. And the deck boards I bought for the top, which are right there, are gonna go this way. So, yep. But first, before I lay the deck boards, I'm gonna jack it up, put a level on it. You know, we're gonna figure out the final location because obviously the pad is different heights and different spots, and as you can see, it's got a little lean to it right there. So it's basically leaning towards me and downhill that way. As you can see, I had to figure out where the edge of the concrete pad was. I took my shovel and dug it out, found the edge of the concrete, and just dug into all the yard right there. So yeah, basically I'm thinking I do that, and then I can maybe make a little screened in area. Maybe, I don't know. I get why there's so many porches down here like that. Sometimes on the warmer nights, man, those mosquitoes come out in force. So might think about doing that. I don't know, but maybe a hot tub, a little one. Don't freak out. A little hot tub, and like a screened in area, but I'm not really sure yet. Basically, I leveled it out, and I'm making little 2x4 legs for it. That's what I'm going to use for now, I guess. I'm going to have a bunch more in here because I'm going to have a decent amount of weight in this shed. So yeah, that's basically it. And then after that, I'm going to get started on the deck boards on the top. Well, there she is. Got her leveled out. I only screwed down the one on the end. I just spaced the rest of these out fairly evenly. I mean, obviously they're not perfect, but it's gonna work for what I'm doing. Yeah. So I just gotta screw down the rest of all these boards here and then start building the shed on top. That's it. It's all pressure treated, so it's made for outdoor. Okay guys, well, we got everything in the backyard. We got instructions. The instructions look pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. I kind of thumbed through it a little bit, but yeah, it all kind of just snaps together and screws together. So the cool thing is like, so all the pieces are like, see, they're labeled right roof exterior. Yeah. So yeah, it should go together pretty easy. So let's go ahead and start. Well, ran into a little snag. So I got these doors here, and they came with door seals, 2 of them. Well, window seals, I should say. But they won't seal, see? If you lay them in there and push them into the groove, there's always a little gap. So you try and stretch it out in order to make it fit, and then it just keeps popping up in the corners, and it's like impossible. So what I'm gonna do is I think I'm just gonna put a fat bead of indoor-outdoor silicone. Make sure you get some that's suitable for all temperatures, you know, freezing to hot, basically. So I think I'm gonna put a fat bead in here. I'm just gonna take this out, take this seal, throw that out, and then I'm just gonna put a fat bead of silicone in there and seal up both of these doors. Seal up both these doors? No, seal up the windows. I'm gonna seal up the windows in the doors. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, so got my, it came with these fancy little, look at this. It came with these fancy little, I don't know what you call them, but to make it look more like a fancy window. It came with Lexan as well, or plexi sheets. It says use this side out, so what you do is you peel off both sides of this. It has like a coating plastic film on it. So what I did was I tested it on a corner and I realized these are clear. Well, I don't really want people being able to see inside my little shed, so I think I'm just gonna leave them on there. Leave the plastic film coating on both of them. That way people can't see in. I could spray paint them or something like that, but why not just leave the factory coating on there? And then I have to decide, these are actually the skylights that go on the top of the roof. You guys will see me putting that together, and you'll also see me decide whether or not I'm going to use the O-ring gaskets. They're the same O-ring gasket that comes for the door. So you guys will see me decide whether or not I'm going to use those or just silicone the crap out of them and throw them in. But yeah, let's get started. Well, there you have it. One 8x10 shed done. Now we're going to be able to take all the stuff out of the garage and put it in here. So we got room to work. I still got to build I'm going to build a little ramp to go in there. Actually, these little pieces here are going to work perfect for it. But yeah, I might have to get one more 2x4 and some more screws, but other than that, yeah, we're good to go. Yeah, it's like I said, it's 8x10 Suncoast, as you can see. Sorry, Suncast, not coast. Pays to be literate. There you go. It's got little skylights in it. Got the screens. So the screens didn't actually fit quite right. So the screws, so see, I put silicone around them in order to make them seal, like to help keep bugs and wasps out. I did the same thing to the front one. But I don't know. This might work for now, but I'm gonna do probably some reinforcing to it. Like I said, the floor is kind of pliable. It's like you could, easily push on it, and then when the sun's on it, oh man, you can move it big time. So what I'm gonna do is get some probably 3/4 inch plywood and cover the whole bottom of the shed, and then anchor through the plywood, through the floor, and into the base that I made. Just tie it all together, and then I don't know. Some people were asking me about anchoring it to the concrete. I don't really know if I'm gonna do that yet, but I don't know. We'll see. It depends on a few factors. I don't know how high the winds get out here whenever there's like storms or hurricanes coming through or anything like that. So yeah, we'll have to just play it by ear. But as of now, I'd say that shed's pretty well complete. So yeah.